guys, it's Jennifer from Craft Forest. Today we're going to make a super simple project. We're going to make scent sachets out of things that you probably already have at home. You can use these in your drawers, you can use them as gifts. They look really expensive and complicated, but I promise you they're not. You need just a few things. You need 2 pieces of fabric, 5-inch squares. You can use an old shirt, you can use a sheet that you have at home, pretty much anything you can find that you can cut into a square you can use. I happen to find these really cool charm packs at my local quilt shop. They're actually already pre-cut pieces of fabric in 5 inches. Totally easy, no cutting, all you have to do is sew them together. So you need those, just 2 pieces of fabric. You need Epsom salts, believe it or not. You don't have to go to the lavender field and get really fancy things to fill these up. You can actually just go to the grocery store and grab some of these guys. You'll need some sort of scoop. I use just this little measuring cup or spoon or a really anything that you can scoop it from the bag into the sachets. And then I also use a bowl that I actually put the sachets into, so when I sew them together, I actually put them inside and pour it, scoop that way. Super easy. And we're ready to get started. So next what we want to do is pick our fabric. So I opened up those charm packs that I talked about and just kind of went through and looked and found the patterns that I like. I'm actually mixing 2, so I have lots and lots of possibilities. So I think I'm going to go with one that matches my shirt, and I'm going to go with the green fox and this kind of wavy background. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to piece the fabrics right side together, which means the part with the printing. I'm going to flip those over together. And all we're going to do is just sew around the border here, and then we're going to leave a small opening just big enough to be able to get that scoop in so we can fill it up with the Epsom salts when we're ready. Super easy, I promise. I can barely sew straight lines, but I can do this. So let's head on over to the sewing machine. So we're over here, we've got our 2 right sides together, we've got our 2 5-inch squares, and we're just going to start sewing around. So I'm going to get that started, and I'm going to sew just down the side here and just flipping that. You can actually leave it right in and just flip it to come around the corner and coming around. And just remember, when we get to this next side, to this final side, we're going to leave space. We're going to leave probably about an inch and a half so that we can fill it up. And we're going to make sure that we do a little back stitch here, which means going backwards, just to make sure that we seal that stitch in so it doesn't rip apart when we're ready. Okay, so we've got that sewn up on all the sides, and we've left a little opening here so that we can have enough space, and I hope I left enough space there, that we can actually use our scoop, a spoon, or a measuring cup. So the next thing we need to do is we're just going to turn this right side out. So we're actually going to slip the fabric into the hole here and flip it out. And we're just going to kind of pull that apart and kind of poke those corners in. You can use a pencil or chopstick or anything that you have at home to kind of poke those out and make really sharp corners. But a lot of times once you fill these with the Epsom salts, they'll kind of fill out on their own, so it'll be a nice square. So you can see here that we've got the fox on this side and we've got the pattern on the back side, and then we've got this little opening here. So now we've sewn it together, believe it or not. And now we are ready to fill them. So I'm going to grab the bowl, and I usually just, I'm going to move these guys over here, I usually just kind of set the pouch in the bowl here, just kind of set it up, and then pour the Epsom salts into the measuring cup. Super easy. If you can get the bag open, it makes it even easier. Alright, and so you can pour this in. You don't need a whole lot, maybe half a cup. We'll fill up 1 of the sachet bags. And I kind of tuck that corner in, those spots that we left open, just tuck it in, and then you can just pour it right in here. So you can kind of eyeball that and do your best not to spill it all in the bowl like I am. And kind of straighten that out, kind of get it settled down to the bottom. Oops. And the bowl is great to catch all of those, the ones that I'm spilling, so you don't make a huge mess. It's a mess that would smell really good, but it's a huge mess. So I've got about half a cup in here, and that's a pretty good amount. You can see that these are pretty full when I sew it up and lay it flat. That will give you a pretty good amount there, and you can actually get about 10 to 15 of these guys out of one bag. So you can eyeball it and decide how much you want inside. So I'm going to call this good, and we've got it filled. So now all we have to do is sew it up. So I'm going to move this bowl over here. Now you just need a needle and thread. That's it. So you can choose any color that you want, but it's going to be sort of hidden so you won't really see. So I'm just choosing this sort of neutral one here. So I'm sliding the needle right into the part that I've already sewn. So I've got a knot here on the end of the thread, and I'm just sliding it so it's sort of hidden. There are lots of ways that you can stitch this shut. My invisible stitch is not really very invisible, but I do my best. Really all we care about is that this is sewn shut. So we're just gonna do a couple of quick stitches across the top, grabbing a little bit of each side. You can slide the needle in from this back side here, grab a little bit of the fabric, and pull it through. So we're gonna continue that all the way down. And this takes just a few minutes. This is really the only time-consuming part of this is just stitching this shut. A lot of times I'll fill a bunch of these in advance and then sit down and watch a show and just stitch these closed. All right, so we're just about finished here. You want to make sure that your stitches are fairly close together because the salts are pretty tiny, and you might be moving these around in your drawer or again giving them as gifts. You want to make sure that it doesn't spill out. So I'm going to just keep stitching this to the end. And we're going to try to kind of close this in the same way that we started. We're kind of just going to tuck this needle back in and make sure that we've got those threads in. So what I do is I actually come to the corner here and I just poke my needle in and slide underneath those stitches that I just made. I'll just slide in, and I'll do that sometimes 2 or 3 times just to get it closed really well. And then we can cut that excess. And we're all finished. So this is the finished project, super easy. We took 2 5-inch squares and we turned them into a really great scent sachet. I'll a lot of times give these as gifts, and I actually sometimes will take 2 and package them together. Just use a little ribbon, little piece of twine. This is baker's twine here. This variety is lavender, and that's what we used today in the tutorial. And then you can also get other scents at the store. This one is eucalyptus, fantastic for people with a cold. You can make eye pillows out of these as well, but these will make your clothes and your drawers and your friends' drawers smell amazing. So give it a try. Like always, get out there, be creative, try something new. You can do it. And I'm Jennifer from Craft Forest. Thanks, see you soon.